Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
We are back. UFC Fight Night, Burns versus Morales, back at the Apex, guys. Yes, we are back at the. It's been a bit. It's been a while. So people that don't like the Apex cards, you had a little break from there, but I do believe we're there for back-to-back cards. Me personally, I don't hate it. The only thing I do hate is a smaller cage. Not a big fan of the smaller cage. That's the only thing I could really say. I don't mind the smaller crowd and fighting, and you get to hear the fights a little more. You get to hear the corners and stuff. I don't mind that portion of it. It's just a smaller cage, right? You're used to fighting in a bigger cage. Now you got to go to a smaller cage. It does favor some fighters. So that's the only thing I do hate about the Apex. But we're here. I'll break down the main card like usual. Provide free picks, leans, price talk, value, and more. Systemsportscapping.com or link.me/system. Capping client opportunities over there, resume, records, articles, and more. Currently handicapping the UFC, PGA, NHL, and the NFL is around the corner, guys. Schedule release came out. Some big games. Excited to go over that. I did post it on my stories, Instagram, Twitter. I'm sure most of you guys probably already seen it, but definitely some big games. Thanksgiving, Baltimore's playing. Excited about that. Looking forward to the first video. Probably will come out first podcast NFL, probably August. Maybe July, August, just, go over the future market, etc. So definitely look out for that. New mic this week. It finally came in. The Shure mic came in. I ordered the white one, so a little different, right, than the normal black. Took about 3-4 days to come. Finally came. Just still working out things. I know it probably already sounds better, but just still working out a couple things with the gain and trying to learn it. I just got it in yesterday. So definitely trying to learn about it. I did a couple test videos with it. It sounds great. So hopefully you guys do feel the same. I had the old mic I had it for a long time. It wasn't a bad mic, right? But it was just time for a change, time for an upgrade. Got the best one on the market. So hopefully you guys can tell. I did forget. I use a MacBook, and it's limited in the slots, right? So normally I have like a light for just to light up. You can probably see it's a little darker today, but it's a USB light, like a standing USB light. So now I got to get a new light because all the ports are used on the actual MacBook slots. And then I have like an adapter, but it didn't fit for the Shure mic. So yeah, I'll be getting a new light. So look out for that. It'll be like a plug-in one, maybe get a little more high-end one. So improve the lighting in here. Let's do a UFC 315 recap after I went over some housekeeping there. And it was the first main event we missed out in a while. I was on the Bilal side. I had him on the do not bet against list, right? He was running through the UFC. Looked like a very difficult guy to fight. Just a guy you don't want to fight. The pressure, the mixed up game, very good wrestling, very good striking. The striking improved a ton. And he ran into Jack, who is the real deal. I did say one day that Jack will be champion. I just didn't see it this past week, right? I did not see it from just because I haven't seen Bilal stumble. Right? And he recently running through the guys. The resume advantage was huge. And he just won early. He had a bad game plan. He didn't shoot enough takedowns. He thought he could just outbox Jack. That was not the right decision. I think he figured out that Jack hits harder than he thought. His face was kind of busted up if you saw that. And I think that kind of made him realize that, wait, I can't just go in and take him. Well, one, the Jack's takedown defense was excellent, very good, definitely improved. Remember, Gilbert Burns took him down 7 times in the previous fight. Bilal had maybe 2 and very minimal control time. So hats off to Jack, right? He took that time off, definitely improved that takedown defense, but Bilal's to fault too. I didn't like the game plan, especially early on. He tried to just box and win rounds like that. At the end of the day, it was still a close fight. I had Jack 3-2. So it wasn't like, Jack um, beat him up for 5 rounds and demolished him, but he clearly won the fight, right? I do see some people saying, oh, I think Bilal won the fight. I don't see that. Jack definitely won the fight. In my opinion, 3-2. Just a huge win for him, right? 2 champions now from that region with Volk, of course. He'll be fighting Islam next. They did announce it already on Tuesday. Dana White. Islam's moving up, vacating the belt, and fighting Jack Delamay. And yeah, early lean, of course, is Islam, right? I'm going to have to look there. I do think he's going to be able to fight down to the ground. But hey, let's not count out Jack. Let's not count out Jack anymore, right? So hats off to Jack. Proved me wrong on this one. It was a 2-2 card, so not terrible. I hope you guys did tail Valentina at plus money. She was live there, got it done. Boring fight, but she did enough, did a little more damage. Hope you did tail that one. 2-2 card, no profit. 13-2 UFC pay-per-view run. We were on an 11-0 run before that. 74% all fights card. Average line plus money. Let's get right into it, guys. Let's get right into the breakdowns for this card. Shop around. Shop around, like I always say, have multiple sports books. Get the best price out there. They vary. Prices vary from book to book. This is a good example here. You can get Burns all the way up to plus 600. Then some have lower than that, right? I'll do average line here. Burns plus 570 versus Morales minus 800. Yikes. Already off the bat, right when I saw this, it's off. The line's off here. Yeah, I do believe Morales wins the fight. But this price makes it unbettable. You can't bet Morales at minus 800. And we look at an outcome, it's tough. I'll go over that here shortly. But Gilbert Burns at this price, plus 570, plus 600 around some of the market, I wouldn't call you crazy to put a smaller unit just due to the value on the price. I don't believe it's a great matchup for him. He's a little older now. Morales 17-0. He's on that run right now where he's just running through guys. But who are the guys that he's running through? Let's look at the resume, right? Neil Magny. Everyone beats Neil Magny. He's that gatekeeper guy to see if you can move up to start fighting a little better guys. Hats off to Neil Magny. Good fighter, tough fighter, but just mid-tier or lower tier at this point in his career. You could say that was his biggest win. I think Jake Matthews was a good win as well. That was a decision win. And then Max Griffin, also decision win. Those are his 3 best wins. So all, mid-tier guys, a little towards lower tier guys. Obviously, we're not going to try to compare the resumes here. Burns has been fighting the best of the best in the world, right? Sean Brady, Jack Maddalena, and Bilal Muhammad. Top 3 guys into this division. So that's why he's lost 3 in a row, especially towards the end of his career here, right? So if you look at the 2 resumes, you can't even compare it. Don't even look at it. There's no point. Burns obviously has been there and done that. Yes, he loses when he steps up in competition. That has to be stressed. When he fights the best guys in the world, he does lose. Is Morales one of those best guys in the world? Time will tell, right? Time will tell here. And obviously the 3 losses in a row, concerning for Burns. I don't believe he's going to fight too much longer. I think it depends kind of how this fight goes. Maybe Burns will have maybe another 1 or 2 fights in him. I can't really read his mind, but that's my thoughts there. Burns will try to get this fight down to the ground. There's no secret about that. If you're standing and just kickboxing and boxing with Morales, it's not a good idea, right? He has an 8-inch reach advantage. That's what he wants to do. He wants to fight you at range, right? Burns doesn't want to do that. He wants to make it scrappy, ugly, and try to get the fight down to the ground. Now, Morales has shown some good takedown defense, if not great takedown defense at 92%, guys. Now, is he fighting any pure wrestlers? No, but Magny, Jake Matthews, Max Griff, they have some decent wrestling. They try to take down the fight. But Morales has shown his distance management has been great, and he's shown his wrestling has been great. His takedown defense has been great. So Burns could struggle. And if Burns struggles to get him down to the ground, he's in for a long night, in my opinion. But if he makes it ugly against the cage, tries to hold him against the cage, um, and has success taking down Morales, we gotta fight here, guys. We gotta we gotta scrap here. I do think Burns will make it a scrap either way. It's just, is it him standing in there getting picked apart on the feet, or is he having success with the takedowns? More against the cage, grinding the fight out. That's how he's gonna have to win this fight if he does pull off this big upset. According to the sports books here, I don't believe this is the right price. I had Morales at more maybe a 3 to 4 to 1 favorite. We haven't seen him in a 5 round spot, a main event spot. We haven't seen him in this situation. As me as a handicapper, if I haven't seen you do it, I can never lay a price like this. I haven't seen you in this type of situation against a good guy like Gilbert Burns, a veteran guy like Gilbert Burns, who's been there and done that. So it's impossible to bet Morales at this price. When you look at an outcome, very difficult as well. Right? There could be a later finish in this fight, or it could be just a decision win. Like I mentioned, last two fights, sorry, three. In his last 3 fights, 2 of them were decision. So it's not like he's running through guys, knocking everybody out, because that's not happening. Right? So yes, I do believe Morales wins this fight. I do believe it's a good matchup on paper if he can keep the fight standing and continue to show that excellent takedown defense. And Burns has been finished 3 times as of late against Jack with that nasty knee. So Morales is live to finish the fight, but it could also go 5 rounds. Burns has shown his toughness before. We haven't seen Morales fight 5. So it's a difficult fight to handicap here. Obviously, if you're on Burns, it's not because you're laughing with that price. But there's no clear outcome here in my eyes. So you'd be taking more of a shot. Right? Okay, you take him by decision, but what if he gets a late finish? So not confident here on the outcome play. For podcast purposes, the play is Morales. It's just good luck trying to bet it at that price. Bellato minus 550 versus Craig plus 400. Another big price here, guys. I don't believe it's warranted, but again, Bellato, I do believe he should win this fight. Paul Craig is just very difficult. Very difficult guy to bet with. You're just hoping he finds a submission. Right? That's what you're hoping. We all know his game plan. He may even just lay on the ground and ask you to come down, right? Bellato's going to have a striking advantage here. Could catch Craig. Craig's coming off 3 straight losses here. Obviously against a lot better guys than Bellato. Keep that in mind. Craig does have a resume advantage here. Bo Nickel, maybe not as good as we thought he was, but still very good fighter, right? Braulio and Brandon Allen as well. So, obviously this is a step down, you can say, for Paul Craig, but it's just his chin, right? He's been knocked out 5 times. This could be easily 6 here. Bellato should be able to hurt Craig on the feet, in my opinion, at some point in this fight. He'll have a big volume advantage here as well. All right, only way I have Craig winning is catching him in a wild submission. It's just such low odds. Just such low odds. Right, so if you're going to bet this fight, maybe look at Bellato to improve the price by finish. Just a terrible co-main event, right? Just not a fight you want to get involved in too much. Right, again, I'm not very high on Bellato. Right, I'm not running to the window to bet Bellato, especially at this price or in any fight. But he has to be the play here. That's the only way I can look if I were to bet this fight. I'll be staying away. Possibly maybe looking in the prop market, maybe the unders in rounds. But yeah, not excited about this one, guys. Youssef plus 110 versus Santos minus 130. This could be a good fight. Could be competitive. The market is telling you it is. And, I believe it should be a close fight. So maybe a little slight value here on Youssef at plus 110. Not an easy fight to call. You got Santos 2-0 in the UFC. Almost lost last time out versus Francis Mitchell. Francis Mitchell was able to have some success with takedowns. Yusuf, back-to-back losses against really good guys, though, right? Barboza and Diego Lopez. So, yes, check off in the box for Yusuf for resume. Big difference in resume here, to be honest. Yusuf, very experienced fighter, right? He's been around, fought some good guys in the UFC. I believe he'll have a volume advantage in this fight on the feet and wrestling. Always some concerns with his cardio. If the fight goes second, third round, it's favored Santos there. Could Yusuf maybe catch him early, hurt him early, and kind of win the fight down the stretch? He's live here at this price. Just not a trustworthy guy. Not a guy I like to, put my money on. But if he's getting plus money, hey, plus money in an even style matchup is the only way I could look if I were to bet this fight. Again, you're a little worried about the gas tank, not the most trustworthy guy. Sometimes he can be reckless in there. And how good really is Santos? We don't really know because he's just fighting very lower level guys. And like I mentioned, I wasn't thrilled with the Francis Mitchell fight. Not sold on Santos yet is what I'm trying to say. So if I were to bet this fight, it would only be on the Yusuf side at plus 110. Ruzabev's back, minus 300 versus Stolflus, plus 250. The rightful favorite here. I like Ruzabev. We've seen him go with Buckley, right? He lost the fight, obviously, but he stood in there, right? Very good striker, Ruzabev. Has some power, big guy. Stolflus is going to want to try to get this fight down to the ground. His only path would be to have success to get the fight down to the ground and, outwork him there, out-grapple him. Ruzabev has shown, his takedown defense is fairly solid, right? Very big guy, too, right? 6'5". It's going to be hard to take him down, in my opinion. But Stolflus, he does have that in his back pocket. He's averaging over 2 takedowns per fight. But I just believe he's going to have too much issues with the size of Ruzabev. I think Ruzabev will be able to keep it at distance, maybe hurt him on the feet at some point. I expect Ruzabev to win this fight. Most likely by finish. If you want to improve that price, we don't love minus 300s. We all know that. You don't want to be backing minus 300 much. But yeah, Ruzabev has to be the play here. Keep the fight standing. I believe he wins this fight fairly easily. May make my client card in some aspect this week. Last one we'll talk about here, guys, and it's Rosa plus 150 versus Costa minus 175. This is a sneaky good fight. And it's a surprising 3-fight win streak for Rosa. He just fought a month ago as well. And now back after a quick round 1 finish against Elkins. He took no damage and he's just right back in there. Why not make the money, right? Costa also just fought maybe just over a month ago, a few cards before Rosa. And he got a nice win against Christian Rodriguez. Fun fact, both guys have wins over Christian Rodriguez. Christian Rodriguez really fell down. He had that big win over the 17-year-old. And then just fell apart. I thought he was going to be the next big thing or something, but not next big thing. But I thought he would be a good prospect. But 2 losses to these guys. These guys are decent fighters, like Rosa Costa, solid fighters. But I thought Rodriguez. I believe I took Rodriguez in one of those fights and lost, probably over Rosa, to be honest. But good wins for them, both on 3-fight win streak. So it is a sneaky good fight here. Costa has some good wins in that streak as well, not just Rodriguez. Nice win over Feely, right? Veteran guy. So I do have Costa here with a few attributes, few stats that I want to look at here that is a little concerning. Obviously, Rosa, the 7 KOs. He's been knocked out 7 times. Very chinny. But can you get to him before he gets to you is the question. And his poor takedown defense at 48%. I can see, Costa mixing in some takedowns here, but I think he can catch him on the feet as well. Right, Rosie, yes, he has a ton of volume. He can win fights, but can he avoid getting hurt first, right? He's over six significant strikes per minute. Costa's low volume at 3.4. That's what scares me. This fight goes decision. Rosa could win this fight unless you see a lot of takedown success from Costa. I believe both guys kind of cancel each other out in the grappling wrestling department, but we'll see here. Reach and height for Rosa, a little worried just about that chin on Rose. That's why I can't, the plus 150, yes, it's intriguing because I have this fight more as like a minus 120 for Costa, slight favorite. Not an easy fight to call here, but I will lean the favorite here with Costa. I have him more as a minus 120, minus 125 favorite for Costa. But I do believe he finds a way to get this fight. Could be a close fight, but he also could catch a Rosa due to Rosa's chin issues. That will do it, guys. That will do it. Back here on a UFC stretch, we got the PGA Championship this week. Excited for that. Obviously, NHL playoffs is going on as well. Exciting times always. It really gets exciting late summer when the NFL gets back and we get busier for myself. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Enjoy this card.